This is KIMT News 3 at 6.
The GOP watch party is set to begin soon here in Rochester. I'm KIMT News 3's Emma Esteb live with how some Republican candidates are feeling as we head into tonight.
And are your stock market investments safe from tonight's presidential uncertainty? I'm KIMT News 3's Branco with answers from a financial expert.
Plus, we'll all be waiting for results to come in once the polls close tonight. We're giving a rundown of the races we'll be following closely this evening.
And you still have a couple more hours to get out to the polls and vote, and we're tracking drier conditions after some rain over the last 24 hours. We'll have a look at some more rain chances in our forecast coming up.
Good evening. Thanks so much for joining us for KIMT News 3 at 6 o'clock on election night. I'm Kamie Roesler. As we continue to wait for the polls to close and the results to roll in tonight, the GOP is getting ready for its watch party in Rochester. KIMT News 3's Emma Esteb is joining us live at Willow Creek Golf and Event Center right now, where the event is soon to take place. So, Emma, who can we expect to see there this evening?
Hey, Kamie, yes, things are getting set up here tonight. There's going to be voters and some candidates here at Willow Creek, and the event officially is going to kick off in about a half an hour. And so throughout the night, we will be following some key local races, including Minnesota State Representative Districts 20B, 24A, 24B, 25A, and 25B. And on the Republican side, some key issues for candidates and voters include taxes, the economy, and safety. I caught up with Ken Nowitzki, who is running for House District 25A, and Dan Cepeda, the Republican candidate for 24B. Both men tell me that, if elected, a main priority is supporting small business owners and farmers. Each are competing against incumbent candidates in their respective seats. And here's how they're feeling about tonight.
Well, that's all in God's hands. I hope I win, obviously, but you know, it's in God's hands.
I don't know what to expect tonight, because I know that over the last 2 years, people are beginning to really understand that leadership, whether it be at the national level, the state level, or at the county level, it makes a huge difference.
And like I said, the event is kicking off here at 6:30, and it's going till 11 o'clock tonight. And I will be here, of course, talking with voters and candidates throughout the evening. Live in Rochester, Emma Esteb, KIMT News 3.
Emma, thank you so much. The event does have a $10 cover charge. We will continue to have results right here at KIMT News 3. Turning to a couple of races we are keeping an eye on. First, the Rochester Public School referendum will be decided tonight. RPS is asking taxpayers to approve a $194 million operating tax levy over the next 10 years, which would raise taxes by $19.4 million each year. The district says it will use the money to improve student learning, retain staff members, and add new positions. Voters will also be deciding who serves Minnesota's 1st congressional district. Incumbent Republican Brad Finstad has represented the region since 2022. His challenger is Rochester native and DFL candidate Rachel Bowman. Turning to Iowa we go, where the 2nd Congressional District is on the ballot tonight. The seat covers most northeast Iowa counties. Incumbent Republican Ashley Hinson, has represented the area since last year. She previously represented Iowa's 1st Congressional District. She's a previous news reporter. She's being challenged by Democrat Sarah Corkery and Independent Jody Puffett. In Austin, the mayoral race is also on the ballot. Incumbent Steve King, who became mayor in 2020, is running against challenger Bradley Johnson. Both candidates tell KIMT News 3 they are lifelong Austin residents. And we are also monitoring 2 sheriff's races in Iowa. Cerro Gordo is voting for County Sheriff. Brian Koob is up against David Hepperly. This is a partisan race. Koob is a Democrat and Hepperly is a Republican. Howard County is also voting on a new sheriff in Cresco. Richard Hollenbeck is a no-party candidate, and Rick Bush is a Republican, and they both are looking to fill that position. Our team coverage will continue in just a bit. Our Sananda McCall is in Iowa, and she will be joining us a little bit later in this broadcast. Let's turn to weather now on this election night. KIMT Storm Team 3 Chief Meteorologist Aaron White joins us now as people are still heading to the polls, and it was a rainy one for Election Day today, Aaron.
Yeah, it sure was. We had quite a bit of rain showers earlier this morning. That gradually cleared out as we got into the afternoon. Still some patchy drizzle around, but we are tracking drier conditions here for this evening. If you still have to head to the polls here over the next 2 hours, we are looking at dry conditions. Still cloudy and also rather chilly. Temperatures are in the 40s right now, 44 in Rochester and Mason City, 45 in Austin, and 43 in Albert Lea. Winds are out of the northwest at about 10 to up to near 20 miles per hour, so there is a breeze, making it feel a little bit colder across the area. But as we look at our forecast here for the next few hours, temperatures are going to hover in the lower to middle 40s. But like I said, we are tracking dry conditions here for the rest of this evening, and we're also tracking some fog developing here later on tonight into tomorrow morning. Otherwise, we got dry conditions for a few more days before, we got more rain here as we look ahead to the weekend. We'll get you a full look at the weekend and the 7-day forecast coming up.
New information here tonight. A woman involved in a February non-fatal buggy crash. It seriously injured 2 children. She has pleaded guilty to this crime. Today, 32-year-old Brittany Edgar from Spring Valley pleaded guilty to 1 felony count of criminal vehicular operation. In this February 16th crash, 9 people were in the buggy, 6 were taken to the hospital. A 1-year-old child suffered a skull fracture. Another child broke their arm. It happened on County Road 1, that's north of Spring Valley. According to deputies, Edgar actually left the scene. She will be sentenced December 30th. To another case we go, happening tomorrow after a short break for jurors to take part in Election Day. The first-degree murder trial of Adam Fravel will continue in Mankato. Closing arguments are expected to take place at the Blue Earth County Justice Center. Fravel is charged with the first and second-degree murder of Winona mother, Madeline Kingsbury. Her body was found off a rural highway last year after she was reported missing in late March. The defense rested last Friday after Fravel refused his right to testify, and only 5 witnesses took the stand. On the other hand, the prosecution called 65 witnesses to testify over nearly 2 weeks. Originally, closing arguments were scheduled to take place in Blue Earth County yesterday. However, the court pushed that back to Wednesday to allow the jury to vote in today's election. Jury instructions and deliberations will follow directly after closing arguments, and I believe our Brandon Coate will be there tomorrow. He will be there tomorrow. All right, speaking of Brandon Coate, he has a story for us now. Continuing with the election, as emotions are running high leading up to the election, the stock market is seeing many ups and downs due to uncertainty. One Rochester financial expert is debunking financial myths and explaining how to handle your money as new leadership will take over our country. KIMT News 3's Brandon Coate joins us in studio now. So, Brandon, people always wonder, does the next president make an impact on the stock market?
Yeah, definitely, Kamie. So I spoke with a senior financial advisor who has seen the stock market withstand 9 different presidential elections. He tells me whoever is sitting in the Oval Office generally does not impact which way the market goes. Financial advisor Dan Langworthy is providing 3 tips for investors as the night unfolds. First is to take a long-term perspective on your investments rather than focusing on the fluctuations you may see before and after election results. Second is to avoid timing the market, like taking your money out if you disagree with who will be taking over the Oval Office. Lastly, stay diversified. He says do not get caught up in placing money where you think the next president will prioritize, like Donald Trump with fossil fuels or Kamala Harris with renewable energy resources.
The reality is, as much emotion and as much as we'd like to believe that our party or our candidate is going to drive the market, or if one of our candidates doesn't get in there, the market's going to crash, history has actually told us a different story.
He also says what really is going to drive the market is the business cycle and the Federal Reserve.
Brandon, thank you so much. And Brandon, of course, will be heading out here shortly, and he's actually going to the DFL party in Rochester tonight, so we'll check in with him throughout the evening. U.S. Bank and Fidelity Investments are also advising investors to stick to the fundamentals and follow through on your retirement plan. It's expected to be one of the most competitive races across the country. I'm not talking about the presidential race. I'm talking about the candidates for Iowa's 3rd congressional district. They are making a final push for voters with their closing arguments. And later, experts are sharing a warning. Election misinformation is expected to increase after today. How you can spot this misinformation.
KIMT News 3 at 6 with KIMT News 3's Kamie Roesler tracking storms with Storm Team 3 Chief Meteorologist Aaron White. This is KIMT News 3. More local news that is happening right now. We are coverage you can count on.
In Iowa's competitive 3rd district, both Republican incumbent Zach Nunn and Democrat Lanaan Beckham spent election eve rallying and making their cases to Central Iowa voters. Nunn won the seat by roughly 2,000 votes in 2022, and it's expected to be another close contest as Beckham looks to flip the seat. Both candidates spent the day knocking on doors and calling voters. Representative Nunn's closing argument included promises to cut government spending, help secure the U.S. southern border, and pass bipartisan policy. Meanwhile, Beckham's final pitch included fighting for labor workers, fighting for education, and passing the Women's Health Protection Act.
We will deliver. We have stood for Republican principles, but we've worked with independents and Democrats to have real legislation that changes people's lives.
I grew up in a small town. I worked at the U.S. Department of Agriculture. I understand what life is like in our rural towns and counties across Iowa, and that's why I'm focusing on those areas as well.
It's going to be a fun race to watch tonight. The race is expected to be one of the most competitive in the country. From AI-generated photos and videos to fake headlines, election misinformation is everywhere right now. As experts warn it could increase, CBS News and our team right here at KIMT News 3 is working to combat it. One team, the CBS News Confirmed team, works around the clock to identify misinformation, especially pertaining to the U.S. election. So it works to identify misinformation like a recent video on X showing, quote, alleged undocumented immigrants cutting voters in line in Pennsylvania. Well, according to the team, it tracked down where the video was filmed and spoke with election judges to determine the video was taken out of context. The team says to be aware of people taking isolated incidents and claiming them to be part of a wider conspiracy about voter fraud. It suggests you should make it a habit to check the reliability of all sources. Sananda?
We could have a good party. Hey, Kamie, preparations for election watch parties are underway. I'm KIMT News 3, Sananda McCall, live with what you can expect live from North Iowa.
And we are tracking drier conditions for the rest of this evening into tonight, but we're going to look back at some of the rainfall totals from the last 24 hours and our next chance of rain coming up.
Live and local, late-breaking news. Watch Kamie Roesler on KIMT News 3. Weekdays at 6 and 10 p.m. We track storms to alert you first. This is KIMT Storm Team 3. Weather coverage you can count on.
Thanks for sticking with us here at 6 o'clock. It's time for your forecast now with KIMT Storm Team 3 Chief Meteorologist Aaron White. And we maybe have said it 100 times, polls close at 8 o'clock. So some folks are still out there braving the weather to cast their ballot.
Yeah, and thankfully things are looking a little bit better here this evening. We aren't tracking any rain. We still have some clouds around and temperatures are chilly. So grab the jacket, head out to the polls, still cast your vote if you still need to do that here before 8 p.m. Here tonight. But as we look back at the last 24 hours, we've had some good rain. We've had over a half an inch in Casson, Albert Lee, and Hayfield right at a half an inch. Northwood just under that. St. Ansgar, same thing. Austin around 0.41, and Dodge Center, same thing as well. Rochester, we had about 4/10 of an inch of rain, and Mason City and Forest City were just under that. But hey, still some decent rainfall, and just adding to what we've already had over the last weekend. We're still tracking more chances in the forecast, especially looking ahead to the weekend. But for tonight, we're likely staying dry. There could still be some patchy mist or drizzle around. Otherwise, not really much to worry about. All the rain building to the north and east, and it's going to take the clouds with it as well. So we are going to be seeing at least a little bit of clear skies, but the clouds will roll back in as we go through tonight and into tomorrow. Few peaks of sunshine here on your Wednesday, but what's going to be more notable here tonight into tomorrow is going to be some areas of fog that could actually get on the denser side, so visibility is going to be reduced, especially looking ahead to the morning commute here on your Wednesday. Right now, though, we got 44 in Rochester and Mason City, 45 in Austin, 43 in Albert Lee. Winds are breezy, about 10 to 20 miles per hour, so a little too strong for that fog to develop. So once the winds do start to lighten up here later on tonight, it is going to allow for some of that fog to really develop here as we get later into tonight after about midnight. Visibility-wise, yeah, not too bad. We're looking at some pretty good visibility for the most part, but as we go through the overnight hours here after midnight, yeah, you can see visibility is going to get down to near zero in some locations, so areas of dense fog are likely to develop here through the night into the morning hours here on your Wednesday. Tracking that here on Sky Tracker 3. We get the clouds clearing out. We'll get a brief clearing before the fog does develop here through the overnight hours, and that will burn off. We will get a little bit of sunshine through the day, but clouds are expected before we get clear skies and more sunshine looking ahead to our Thursday. But we are starting to get more into this active pattern. We've seen multiple rounds of rain in the last week, and we're tracking more systems building in. One coming in here for the weekend that's going to bring us some rain, and likely even another system, potentially two more systems rolling in as we go into next week. So we're finally getting more of that active pattern, more rain that we really need. For tonight, 36 with areas of fog developing. We'll see the fog into tomorrow morning with a high near 48, so a rather chilly day here on our Wednesday. 7-day forecast with the weekend is always in view, showing more sunshine here for Thursday and Friday before we track the rain here for the weekend.
Aaron, thank you. Our team election coverage continues now in Iowa. Our Sananda McCall joins us live now. She is in Clear Lake checking out a GOP party tonight. So, Sananda, what more can you tell us?
Hey, Kamie. Yes, I am in Clear Lake at the GOP watch party for Saragordo County. I'm currently at the Bible Youth Center in Clear Lake, and already people are starting to set up. The doors don't officially open up until 6:30, but already people are starting to trickle in. I think they're really excited. At 7:30 about, I will be getting some responses as to how tonight is going, how they feel that the races will be going tonight, and also looking forward or looking ahead, I will be in Mason City covering the Democratic Watch Party. That'll be in downtown. But as far as it goes, like I said, it's a lot of excitement already. I can't wait to talk to you more about it. I'm going to send it back to you in studio.
All right, and Sananda, I do want to touch on the Howard County Sheriff's race. We have been following that, and earlier this month we learned Richard Hollenbeck, one of the candidates for sheriff there, was on administrative leave. Do we know, is he still on administrative leave?
Yes, I did actually call the sheriff's office earlier today asking, because it is a question that many people do have. They told me that they could not answer that question, so that's all that I have on that, Kamie.
All right, that's a rough one. Hoping to hear more from the Howard County Sheriff's Office. Sananda, thank you so much. We'll be checking in with Sananda all night long. She is on the beat for us in Iowa, and we look forward to hearing more from her. Here's a live look over Highway 52 on this election night in Rochester. We have another check on weather when we come back.
We track storms to keep your family safe.
Hey, welcome back. As we talk about our forecast, we got some drier conditions here tonight into tomorrow, some brighter skies as well, so we're looking forward to that. So let's look at our forecast here. As we go into the day tomorrow, we got temperatures in the upper 40s. Cloudy skies are in the forecast here tomorrow. Temperatures starting off in the upper 30s. There will be a few peaks of sunshine here as we get into the afternoon, but more sunshine looking ahead to our 10-day forecast here by Thursday and Friday. We're tracking rain for the weekend, a little unsettled, but we do have some more sunshine looking ahead to next week.
All right, and we will be with you all night long on this election night with local coverage, so keep it right here on KIMT News 3 as results come in. We'll see you later. Good evening. Thank you so much for choosing KIMT News 3 for your election night coverage. First, we'd like to highlight the team of reporters who will be bringing us coverage throughout this evening. KIMT News 3's Emma Steb will be sharing live updates from the Olmsted County GOP Watch Party at the Willow Creek Golf and Events Center in Rochester. KIMT News 3's Brandon Coate will be sharing live updates from the DFL Watch Party at Graham Park's Floral Hall, also in Rochester. Finally, KIMT News 3's Sananda McCall will be joining us live from both the Saragordo County GOP Watch Party in Clear Lake and the Democrats Watch Party in Lorados in downtown Mason City. But before we get to those watch parties later tonight, there was a fourth person on that board. We have a live update on voter turnout so far from Rochester. KIMT News 3's Evan Berg is joining us live now from On Hall at Graham Park in Rochester. So, Evan, how is today going? How did the rain impact the number of voters showing up to polls? What have you noticed? I did see earlier today your umbrella flipped upside down, so it impacted you a little bit.
Oh yeah, Kamie, that's definitely why I'm doing it from inside the polling location in Owen Hall in Graham Park right now. They're actually saying they're seeing some pretty impressive voter turnout overall from today. Over 1,200 voters and counting after work has let out. They're expecting a bit of a rush come 7 p.m. And it sounds like over 50% of voters who are eligible to vote here in the 3 precincts represented at this polling place have actually voted, which is an encouraging encouraging sign if that's reflective of just the enthusiasm across the board here in Rochester. Anyways, live in Rochester, Evan Berg, KIMT News 3. Back to you, Kamie.
Evan, are we seeing a final push of voters getting in before polls close?
Oh, yeah, they're expecting quite the push. The head judge here in Graham Park says they're actually expecting quite a few people to come closer to 8, just that final rush of people trying to get in before polls close.
Yes, the procrastinators making their way to the polls, but that is great. We love to see people out voting. Evan, thank you so much for your hard work today. We appreciate it. And a reminder, polls are closing in just over an hour at 8 o'clock, as I mentioned. If you are in line at 8 o'clock, you will get to vote. And before we send you back to national election coverage, here's a live look at the Olmsted County GOP watch party at the Willow Creek Golf and Event Center in Rochester. Later tonight, KIMT News 3's Emma Esteb will be sharing a live update from this event and Republican reaction to tonight's results, and our Brandon Coate will be at the DFL party. All right, that's all from me right now. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will have continuous coverage throughout this election evening. Welcome back to KIMT News 3's election night coverage. Thank you so much for joining us. With about 30 minutes until polls close in both Iowa and Minnesota, we'd like to take a look now at the races we're watching in Mason City. Along with the presidential race, of course, U.S. District 2 seat, State Senator District 30 and 59 are also being decided tonight. Contests for Cerro Gordo County Auditor and Sheriff, as well as several state and local judicial spots, are on the ballot. Finally, you'll be voting on 2 constitutional amendments. One increases election citizenship requirements, and the other allows the lieutenant governor to act in place of the governor if the governor is disabled, resigns, or dies. With some of those top races in mind, we'd like to share an update from Cerro Gordo County Republican Watch Party. It's happening right now in Clear Lake. KIMT News 3's Sananda McCall is joining us now at the Bible Youth Center. So, Sananda, what is the mood there as we move closer to the polls closing?
Hey, Kamie. Again, doors opened at 6:30 today, and lots of people have been flooding in, and they are very optimistic that Trump will get this win this year. I did speak with a few people who said they were kind of disappointed as to how the last election went. They are sure that they do not want to see another Harris campaign or election this time. We actually have the GOP chair coming in over here. Mr. Rosenthal. Hi. We're here today, and I just wanted to ask you, what are we expecting today as far as the win goes?
Confidence is very high on the Republican side of the ticket. Really from the top to the bottom. We showed strong poll numbers for President Trump, and we have such a strong platform with local issues here, protecting personal property rights, improving the education system, strengthening wages, improving the economy, that we're very confident that that platform will carry us through to a victory tonight.
Last question here. Are we surprised that Sheriff Powles is not running for re-election this year?
Not really. Sheriff Powles was a great servant in the community in Cerro Gordo County for many, many years. He was a great leader, and we're looking for Dave Hepperly to come in and be a solid leader right behind him. We're proud of Dave, and we're wishing him the best.
Awesome. You heard it here first, and we will have more live reports around 8. Thank you.
All right, Ms. Sananda McCall, thank you so much. Sananda will be covering Iowa for us tonight at the GOP party right now, and she will be heading to the Democrat, I was going to say DFL, but the Democrat watch party there in Iowa a little bit later on, and we will be checking in with her throughout the night. For a full list of races in our area, make sure to visit our website. That's KIMT.com. That will do it for this KIMT News 3 local election update. Make sure to join us in the next half hour for a live report from the Olmsted County Elections Office on last-minute turnout. Welcome back to local election night coverage. Thank you for choosing KIMT News 3 for more on tonight's results and reaction. I'm Kamie Roesler. First, here's a rundown of where our team of reporters will be bringing us live coverage throughout this evening. KIMT News 3's Emma Esteb will be sharing live updates from the Olmsted County GOP Watch Party at the Willow Creek Golf and Event Center in Rochester. KIMT News 3's Brandon Coate will be joining us live from the DFL Watch Party at Graham Park at the Floral Hall, also in Rochester. Finally, KIMT News 3's Sananda McCall will be giving live updates from both the Cerro Gordo County GOP Watch Party in Clear Lake and the Democrats Watch Party in downtown Mason City. But before we get to those live watch party updates, polls are set to close in just a few minutes in Minnesota and Iowa at 8 o'clock tonight. And in just a few minutes, those votes will be counted and they will be rolling in. The results will be rolling in right here on KIMT News 3. Joining us now is Evan Berg. He is live at the Olmsted County Elections Office with a look at the vote counting process as it does begin. So, Evan, how many people are you seeing out there trying to get to the ballot box before close?
Well, Kamie, the last absentee ballot just came in right now, and at 8, they're going to be closing that off. It's a thing that's sort of happening at a lot of polling places, the last few votes coming in, that final push. And I'm hearing from the Olmsted County Elections Office they're expecting an over 70% turnout from voters across Olmsted County. In fact, due to that final push and 30,000 early voters we've seen this year for the 2024 election, they're expecting just quite the turnout overall. We'll be hearing more about those results in just 4 minutes when the press room opens up, and I'll be sure to share those details with you so you can share them with everyone else a little later tonight. Live in Rochester, Evan Berg, KIMT News 3.
Such an important race. Evan, did you see that last person bring their absentee ballot in? Were they a bit frazzled?
Oh, yeah. They just came through the door and walked in to deliver it to the office.
Well, it's nice that they got it in. Evan Berg joining us live tonight. Evan, thank you so much for all your hard work and your coverage. And as the results start to come in, make sure to visit our website. We have much more there at KIMT.com. As those numbers roll in, you can find the latest results at KIMT.com. And before we send you back to national election coverage, here's a live look at the Olmsted County DFL Watch Party at Graham Park's Floral Hall in Rochester. Later tonight, KIMT News 3's Brandon Coate, who is behind the camera right now, will be sharing a live update from the event and Democrats' reaction to tonight's results. That's all for this KIMT News 3 local election update. You can join us in the next half hour for another update on tonight's North Iowa races. Welcome back to KIMT News 3's local election coverage. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Kamie Roesler. We'd like to share an update from a Cerro Gordo County Democrats watch party happening right now in Mason City. KIMT News 3's Sananda McCall is joining us from downtown, where the watch party kicked off at about 7. So, Sananda, the polls are now closed, and I hear that you have a local door knocker for the party there. So, what more can you tell us from Mason City?
Hey, Kamie, I am here with Susan Bangert, who, again, as you said, is a poll watcher. She is a longtime advocate of the Democratic Party, and I kind of want to know, since the kind of switch-up that we've had with Kamala Harris and taking over, running for presidency, how have you guys had to change how you advocated for this party?
I don't think it's changed how I advocated because she's also for the working people like Joe was. I think she was younger and more energetic and is more capable of carrying out his plans. But as far as the goals, I think they have the same goals.
And as far as you mentioned the working class here, how do you feel that she will help to represent Iowa? I know that there's a strong agricultural population here. A lot of people care about the ag community. How do you feel she'll support that?
Well, I think she supports the infrastructure plan, and it's already benefited our state. We've had roads and bridges, and it provides employment, and there's still more good things to come. So that definitely will help Iowa as a state.
And I know there is a big turnout here. Can you tell us about who we can expect to see here tonight?
We'll see the candidates that are running for state senate. It's Rich Lawrence. For state representative, it is Jeremy True. We've got a supervisor, Lori Beecham Gnap. Our sheriff candidate, Kevin Pals, is here tonight. And two of our former legislators, Sharon Steckman, state representative Jeremy True, is trying to keep her seat.
All right, that's just a little glimpse of what you can get here. We will be back. Thank you. I'm sending it back to you, Kamie, in studio.
All right, Sananda, thank you so much. Quick question, if you can hear me, how does this compare to the GOP party you were at?
Honestly, there has been a huge turnout for both. I will say that it seems like, I don't know if it's just the bar setting here, but it seems a little tighter here. So I would say there's about the same turnout, but you're kind of moving around a little bit.
All right, and a little more energy now that we're past the polls closing. Sananda, thank you so much. And for you at home, for a full list of North Iowa races, make sure to visit our website, That's KIMT.com. That will do it for our KIMT News 3 local election update. Make sure to join us in the next half hour for an update from both the Olmsted County DFL and GOP watch parties in Rochester. Welcome back to local election coverage tonight. Thank you for choosing KIMT News 3 for more on tonight's results and reaction. I'm Kamie Roesler. First, we'd like to once again highlight the team of reporters who will be bringing us coverage throughout this evening. KIMT News 3's Emma Esteb will be sharing live updates from the Olmsted County GOP Watch Party at the Willow Creek Golf and Events Center in Rochester. KIMT News 3's Brandon Coate will be sharing live updates from the DFL Watch Party at Graham Park's Floral Hall, also in Rochester. And finally, you've seen her this evening, KIMT News 3's Sonata McCall will be joining us live from both the Cerro Gordo County GOP Watch Party in Clear Lake and the Democrats Watch Party in downtown Mason City. The Olmsted County GOP Watch Party is underway for candidates and voters to celebrate and see the results coming in. KIMT News 3's Emma Esteb joins us live at Willow Creek Golf and Events Center, where it is a bit noisy here tonight. So Emma, what is the energy like there?
Hey, Kamie, yes, I'm sorry. I'm holding my ear because it's quite loud here, but the energy is great. Actually, just about 2 minutes ago, people were out here on the dance floor dancing to the YMCA with a Trump cardboard cutout. So that really just encompasses the energy that is here. Lots of people, of course, wearing red, very loud, lots of TVs so that people can see those results coming in. They have some food, and there are actually 5 local candidates from Olmsted County here, and a lot of them are actually present here today. And something that I noticed that I thought was worth mentioning is that many of the voters and candidates that I did speak with really talked about the presence of God, which I thought was really interesting. And actually, the whole ceremony event today started off with a prayer and a scripture reading and the Pledge of Allegiance. So I thought that was something interesting to note that's going on here. And I actually spoke with the GOP Olmsted County Party Chair, who tells me some of her key policies that she is looking for with this election.
I'm looking at nationwide policies that I believe are most important for voters, even at the state level, and those are the southern border, the economy, and crime and safety. So those are the things that I believe have driven a lot of people out to vote this time around.
And again, great energy here. I'm going to be here talking with voters and candidates. Kamie, back to you.
All right, it sounds like a great night there for the GOP Watch Party in Rochester. Emma, thank you so much. The Watch Party in Rochester goes until 11 this evening. And thank you for joining us for this KIMT News 3 live local election update. Make sure to join us next half hour for a live update from the DFL Watch Party here in Rochester. Welcome back to KIMT News 3's election coverage. Thank you for joining us. I'm Kamie Roesler. DFLers and voters of Olmsted County are gathering right now, watching national and local election results slowly trickle in. KIMT News 3's Brandon Coate is joining us and is about to speak with one representative who is defending his House seat in tonight's election. Brandon.
Hey, Kamie. Yeah, it is almost a packed house here at Floral Hall as people are sitting down waiting patiently for the national election results to slowly come in over here in Olmsted County. But let's move on from national as we have a local representative here. We got incumbent state representative Andy Smith here.
Hello. Thanks for coming.
Oh, thank you for coming as well. But as the polls have closed now, how are you feeling with the voting numbers slowly starting to come in?
Yeah, we haven't seen a lot locally here in Olmsted, but we know from around the country that attendance at these voter polls are way up, which is very exciting. We always want more people to vote. Energy is high. Obviously, at this point, we're all just kind of waiting for those results to come on in.
The energy is high tonight here downstairs, that's for sure. I wish you could go join them soon.
It's nervous energy, too.
Yeah,
we're all
right?
waiting for those results.
Yeah, definitely. And so talking with some of the DFL volunteers who put on this amazing event, they're really excited about the momentum we're seeing here locally with DFLs and some of the progressive action you've seen here. Why is it important for voters to keep that momentum going?
Yeah, so here in Olmsted County, from a DFL perspective, we view reaping generations of work for this area of the state. For a large portion in the last couple decades, this has been a GOP stronghold, and we really have felt we've been working hard talking to a highly educated medical community about the issues we really care about: abortion, more equality across our political spectrum, and we feel like we've reaped the benefits. And my race, other races around the city. So we're really proud of that. Obviously, we're a little nervous about the whole country and what's going to happen with the election there, but we're really proud of what our local DFL units have done here in Rochester and Olmsted County.
Well said. Thank you so much, Representative Smith, and we wish you best of luck tonight. Yeah, Kamie, so I'm going to stay down here over in Floral Hall. I will be giving you updates on what is happening here locally.
All right, Brandon, thank you so much for that. We look forward to chatting with Brandon during our 10 o'clock news. Republican candidate Wes Lund is running against Representative Smith for House Seat 25B here in Rochester. Tonight's DFL Watch Party is scheduled to run until 1 in the morning. Well, that will do it for our KIMT News 3 local election update. Make sure to join us for KIMT News 3 at 10 o'clock for all of your live election coverage from Southeast Minnesota and North Iowa. For live election results, please go to our website. That's KIMT.com.
Local candidates are waiting for the results to roll in here at the GOP party. I'm KIMT News 3's Emma Estep live with more from one Republican candidate, Ken Nowinski.
KIMT News 3, coverage you can count on. This is KIMT News 3 at 10.
Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us for KIMT News 3 at 10 o'clock. I'm Kamie Roesler. All eyes are on the presidential race, and this is where things stack up at this hour. Donald Trump is leading the charge in the fight to lead the country. And this is our team coverage that we have here this evening. We have a lot going on. We have our Emma Esteb. She is live at the GOP watch party in Rochester. We have our Brandon Coate. He is live at the DFL watch party in Rochester. And Sananda McCall is taking the charge in Iowa for us this evening. So we have a lot to get to. But first, we have a special guest joining us here. We have our political analyst, Race Hardy, joining us. And he is someone we are so fortunate to have here at KIMT because it is a big night. It is a huge election on all fronts, especially with the presidential race. So how are you, first of all?
Doing pretty well, thanks.
It's
I hope you are too.
here.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
There is a lot going on. So we have the big presidential race going on right now, but we have a big race for the Senate in Minnesota. So can you explain a little bit about what could come from this election for our Minnesotans?
Sure. So currently, the DFL has a trifecta. They have control of the governor's office, the state Senate, and the state House. Currently, the state Senate is 33-33. There's a vacancy. There's 67 Senate districts in Minnesota, and there's a vacancy, and that election is going on right now. That's the 45th district. So the center of the 45th, if you want a location, is Lake Minnetonka.
Sure.
So it's that surrounding area of Lake Minnetonka.
So that's the race we're keeping eyes on. No results in.
No, not yet.
At this hour. That's the only Senate race.
Correct.
State
the
Senate
only
race.
one.
Okay, so keeping an eye on that because that is huge in the state of Minnesota. So let's also talk about if Kamala Harris were to win the presidency. We, of course, have our governor, Tim Walz, that would then be the vice president. So what happens then for Minnesota? Does Peggy Flanagan then become governor in January?
She sure does. As soon as Walz would take over as VP, she steps into that role as governor. And then the president of our state Senate, he would move into the lieutenant governor's position, and he's a senator right now. He's from the northern Minneapolis area.
Yeah, Bobby Champion, Senator Bobby Champion would then take over as the lieutenant governor.
Yeah,
that's how that works.
Yes, and then we'd have to have an election to fill that vacancy.
Okay, so keeping eyes on that. I guess I want to pick your brain about the presidential election and where we stand right now. What are your thoughts about what we're seeing here tonight?
Well, it appears that Trump has a pretty good path to the upper 200s, 270 to win. There is still a chance for Harris, no doubt, especially if she needs to get Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin.
Wisconsin will be a big one, too, our neighbor here. And Pennsylvania could be a bit of a mess tonight.
Yeah, it's normal and they're following everything exactly as they planned. It's just going to take them a little while because they don't start counting their absentee votes until the polls open on the general election day. So they didn't start counting those until 7 a.m. this morning Eastern time.
Okay, and let's touch Minnesota once again. House District 26A was left open, and so we have 2 new candidates coming in. Can you touch on that and how that could play a role here in Minnesota?
Yes, for sure. So we've got 134 House seats. 4 are needed by the GOP to flip it. So right now that trifecta with that Senate district, if that goes GOP, they take the Senate. And if 4 House are flipped from Democrat to GOP, they take the House. And Gene Plowski's been there for a decade. And so now we have 2 new candidates. So
sure, 2 new candidates, both from Winona. We have Sarah Kruger and Aaron Rapinski. And again, we do not have any results in that race either. So we are keeping an eye on all things local here. Race, thank you so much for joining us. Race is a economics buff. He teaches. You've been teaching for 35 years?
Yes, I have.
35 years, high school and college.
Yes.
Very fantastic. Well, thank you so much for being here with us tonight. A chaotic, busy night, but we are keeping eyes on all things local, and we appreciate your time with us this evening.
Thanks for chatting.
Yes, thank you so much. All right, our election coverage continues. I think we're going to send it out to the DFL watch party in Rochester. Our Brandon Coate joins us now. He is at Graham Park, and it is a busy night in Rochester as we are keeping an eye on all the local elections. So, Brandon, how are things going out there?
Kamie, it's going really well over here in Floral Hall. The energy here has been electric. It is basically almost a packed house, and even both presidential candidate Kamala Harris and Governor Tim Walz are here. They're made out of cutouts. You'll see in a second, but really it's awesome here. A lot of clapping going on, a few booing moments here and there, but overall it's pretty happy energy over here. And so really the name of the game for these DFLers I spoke with is continuing their successful momentum here. Now, many of the incumbent state representatives I spoke with, like Annie Smith, are not only telling me they're nervous about their own races, but what will happen next if Trump reclaims the White House. So on a lighter note, though, volunteers who put on this event and incumbent candidates say they are excited to hopefully be reelected to continue passing progressive legislation like the Paid Family Leave Act. U.S. Representative candidate Rachel Bowman tells me she is hoping to dethrone Brad Finstad to pass the Farm Bill.
Minnesota is a great place to live, and a lot of that is because we have great legislators who go to the mat for us and are really progressive in what they're putting out.
This has been a GOP stronghold, and we really have felt we've been working hard talking to a highly educated medical community about the issues we really care about: abortion, more equality across our political spectrum.
Number one is we definitely need a farm bill, right? I mean, this farm bill has been stagnant for a very long time. We're hearing from so many of our ag professionals that a farm bill is much needed.
Bowman also tells me she has a few other priorities as well, right? Like protecting reproductive rights and really bringing more smaller businesses to rural communities. So I'll keep you updated here over in Floral Hall and continue to talk to candidates and see their reactions when their election results do come in, Kamie. Live in Rochester, Brandon Coate, KIMT News 3.
All right, Brandon, looking forward to that. Thank you so much. Now, this DFL watch party at Floral Hall will wrap up at 1 a.m. Let's take a live look now over downtown Rochester after a busy election day, a pretty wet election day. Chief Meteorologist Aaron White joins us now as we saw a lot of rain today. Kind of a hazy day. It wasn't like a downpour, but it definitely was coming down throughout the day.
Yeah, we've had some good rain here earlier today. Even just a little bit of drizzle here as we went through the afternoon into the evening hours. But that's really wrapping up here now. And we are going to see generally dry conditions here for tonight. But we are tracking some fog to develop late tonight into tomorrow morning. But let's take a look at our current temperatures across the board. We are down into the 40s and even dropping down to the upper 30s at the moment. 39 degrees in Alberley. We got 42 in Mason City and Rochester, 43 in Austin, and winds are starting to get a little bit lighter now. There's still a little breeze around Rochester and Mason City, about 10 to 15 miles per hour. But once the wind subsides, that's when the fog is going to develop late tonight into our Wednesday morning. So we're tracking fog for the morning hours, cloudy skies through most of the day, a little bit of sunshine here by the afternoon, and temperatures Yeah, going to be on the cool side here for tomorrow. Upper 40s by the afternoon. And as we look ahead of the rest of the week, we're tracking dry conditions, but we have more rain to look forward to. We'll talk about that coming up in the forecast.
The GOP Watch Party in Rochester is a lively event where many of the local candidates are there anxiously waiting for the results to roll in. KIMT News 3's Emma Esteb is speaking with Ken Nowitzki on his feelings as he waits for answers, as well as some other politicians tonight. And Emma, I can imagine the GOP Watch Party, they're probably feeling pretty good about the presidential side of things as well.
Yes, for sure. Lots of cheers and shouts over here. And like you said, I'm here with Ken Nowitzki if you want to come on in. Running for 25A, District 25A. And so we're going to scoot over a little bit this way. Perfect. Awesome. And so results, I mean, polls are closed. Results are slowly but surely going to come in soon. How are we feeling?
I'm excited. I think that when you think about when you're running a campaign, you think of all the people that help lift you and get you to where you are. And I think this is a culmination of an awful lot of efforts. It's not just the candidates. It's all of the volunteers. It's the community. So we're apprehensive. I'm excited. And the numbers are starting to roll in. So, you know, who knows? Anything's possible. That's life.
And then if you were elected, what would be some of the policies that you would implement?
I want to get the Social Security's tax chopped. I think that the elderly that are living on fixed incomes are hurting. I want to lessen the burden on farmers and small business owners. I want diesel, seed, fertilizer to be more affordable. And I'd love to have the police officers know that we've got their back, because they wake up every single morning, they put on a uniform, and they kiss their families goodbye, and they stand in that gap. You don't ever know what's going to happen. And when they're making those split-second decisions, they need to know that the legislators have got their back without question. And the last thing is the social experiment that we've put on our children, to me, is unacceptable. It's destroyed their test scores. We need to get back to the basic fundamentals. As a former coach, when things don't work, you go back to the fundamentals: reading, writing, and arithmetic, and we can straighten this out. And it shouldn't take too long, but we need to make some changes. There's no two ways about it, and new leadership is the key.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Best of luck to you tonight, and we're going to send it back to you in the studio.
All right, Emma, thank you so much. Ken, thanks to you as well. On this election night, the Watch Party in Rochester will wrap up at 11 tonight. Well, the results are rolling in. We have updates on some key races we've been following this evening when we come back.
And we are tracking dry conditions here for tonight, but looking ahead to more rain in the forecast for the weekend. We'll have a look at that rainfall forecast, but also some rainfall totals after the break.
KIMT News 3, first at 10. Your local news with KIMT News 3's Kamie Roesler. Tracking storms with Storm Team 3 Chief Meteorologist Aaron White. And sports with Sports Director Mary Peters. This is KIMT News 3. More local news from your neighborhood. We are coverage you can count on.
Hey, welcome back. All eyes are on the presidential race, and this is where things stack up at this hour. Donald Trump leading the charge in the fight to lead our country. You can see 270 electoral votes are needed to win, 211 to 145 right now. And we are updating you with the latest numbers that we have been getting from CBS News. We will keep you posted on this important presidential election throughout the night, as well as many of our local races with our team coverage. We do have to talk about weather. It was rainy out there when we headed to the polls today.
Yeah, it certainly was here, Kamie. Today we saw quite a bit of rainfall across parts of the area here earlier this morning and into the afternoon hours. That has all cleared up, and we are looking at some drier conditions here for the rest of tonight. But let's look back at some of the rainfall totals here from the last 24 hours, as they were pretty decent, with many locations picking up at least a ½ inch of rainfall, including Hayfield, Alberley, and Casson. Northwood and St. Ansgar just under that, but still pretty close. In Austin, we had 0.41, same thing for Dodge Center, and Rochester was right around that, and just a little bit lighter amounts around Mason City. But hey, we'll take the rain. It's been decent, and we're tracking more as we look ahead to the weekend forecast. Right now, things are dry. A little bit of clutter, a little bit of drizzle around the La Crosse area, but that's moving out with the clouds, and we will see briefly some clear skies here tonight. But after that, as we get closer to sunrise, because we've had so much rain here, the ground is saturated, and we're going to be likely dealing with some fog. And it could be pretty dense here by the morning hours, as visibility will be reduced down to near zero in some locations. So just keep that in mind. You may encounter some of that dense fog, so do take it slow here tomorrow morning for your Wednesday morning commute as we are tracking that. Right now, visibility okay. But as we look to the west, we are starting to see some reduced visibility west of Mankato. And as we go through tonight, notice how our visibility really does drop under a half a mile in many spots and even getting close to zero across the area. So we may actually have a dense fog advisory issued later tonight as we start to see some more of that fog developing. But right now, not tracking any of that here at the moment. It's going to be, again, well after midnight. As we look at Sky Tracker 3, we have the clouds right now. Again, we'll see some brief clearing, but here's the look of the fog across basically the entire area, North Iowa, southeast Minnesota. It will burn off. We'll get some sunshine here for the afternoon. Not a lot, as we are generally tracking mostly cloudy skies. And we are also tracking more of an active weather pattern. We're going to see another storm rolling in here, looking ahead to the weekend, and potentially even some more storms going into next week. But tonight, the main area of focus is going to be that chance for some dense fog here late tonight. 36 for a low. Winds out of the north going to be pretty light later on tonight, and they're going to stay light here for tomorrow. We'll see high temperatures topping out around 48, so pretty close to normal for this time of year. And looking ahead to our 7-day forecast, with the weekend is always in view. We got more sunshine here for Thursday and Friday, highs back in the 50s, but we're tracking that rain here by the weekend, upper 40s to lower 50s, and then after that, we'll see a run for maybe near 60 here next week.
Sounds like golf and weather. Aaron, thank you so much. Election coverage continues now. Let's turn to a couple of races we've been keeping an eye on. First, a big one. We've talked about it for months. The Rochester Public School referendum. RPS is asking taxpayers to approve a $194 million operating tax levy over the next 10 years, which would raise taxes by $19.4 million each year. And it looks like we have 1 out of 102 precincts reporting, and this is what we're seeing so far. Predominantly no, but really no votes in at this time, just a few. So the district says it will use this money to improve student learning, retain staff members, and add new positions to RPS. It's a race we'll continue to follow, or a referendum question there that will continue to follow. Let's take a look at the 1st Congressional District here. Voters are also deciding who serves Minnesota's 1st Congressional District. Incumbent Republican Brad Finstad has represented the region since 2022. His challenger is Rochester native and DFL candidate Rachel Bowman, and you can see some early results in here. Finstad with a dominant lead so far. We'll keep you posted on this race as well. And we will have more races and results to check in on when we come back. I do believe Feenstra with the 4th district in Iowa. Let me take a look here. The results are in, and Randy Feenstra has won the 4th district in Iowa, and I do believe Hinson also has won. We'll keep you posted on those 2 races when we come back. For sticking with us on this election night. We hope you're having a great evening. We are monitoring 2 sheriff's races in Iowa, so let's take a look at those. Cerro Gordo is voting for County Sheriff Brian Koob is up against David Hepperly. This is a partisan race. Koob is a Democrat and Hepperly is a Republican. You can see the results here right on your screen. With 100% reporting, Hepperly is ahead by 54.87%. So with 100%, it looks like Hepperly will be the sheriff there in Cerro Gordo County. Howard County is also voting on a new sheriff in Cresco. Richard Hollenbeck is a no-party candidate, and Rick Bush is a Republican looking to fill this position. Looks like we have 0% reporting in this race. We will be sure to keep you posted online and on the ticker that you're seeing on the bottom of the screen. Sticking in Iowa, where the 2nd Congressional District is on the ballot tonight, the seat covers most northeast Iowa counties. The Associated Press has called the race for incumbent Republican Ashley Hinson, who has represented the area since last year. She previously represented Iowa's 1st Congressional District. She was being challenged by Democrat Sarah Corkery and Independent Jody Puffett. And this is with 100% reporting Hinson has won this race. In Austin, we go here now. The mayoral race is on the ballot. Incumbent Steve King, who became mayor in 2020, is running against challenger Bradley Johnson. 0% reporting at this point. Both candidates are from Austin and have lived there their entire lives. All right, make sure to visit our website. That's KIMT.com, or you can stick right here on Channel 3 and see the ticker on the bottom of the screen, as we will have the latest results rolling in. And we will have a live report from our Sonata McCall coming up a little bit later here in this broadcast. Mary? All right, Mary, thank you so much. Our team election coverage continues now in Iowa. Miss Sonata McCall joins us live. She's been working really hard for us today. Sonata, I know it's been so busy for you. You've been at the GOP watch party and you were at the Democrat watch party as well. How did the 2 compare?
Hey, Kamie. Well, I will say there's a lot of noise, but it's good noise because has been showing that they are really there for their candidates, whether it be Trump or Harris, and they've even been very vocal about these local elections. I was speaking with one representative, and they were saying that a lot of people don't realize how important it is for these smaller races that are going on in Iowa, so they wanted to make it clear that they are also watching out for those as well. Here, same thing at the GOP party. I'm still in Clear Lake at this point, and a lot of people are excited. I was hearing a lot of cheering and clapping. They were looking closely at some of the Georgia polling. I know Georgia is a swing state, so they were kind of looking at how Trump is leading there in Georgia. And honestly, it has been what you would expect of any watch party. Lots of people just really excited to see what is to come after all of those votes are in.
All right, Sananda McCall joining us live from Clear Lake. Sananda, thank you so much for all your coverage today, and we look forward to learning more about how the results pan out there in Iowa. All right, I have to send it over to Aaron now.
Kamie, and yeah, busy day here today, a busy night as we are still watching some of those races. But as we talk about our forecast, we're also watching that because we got some calmer weather here for tomorrow. Temperature is going to be on the chilly side, pretty close to normal for this time of year, though. 48 degrees for a high, 39 in the morning. We are tracking fog, so do keep that in mind here as you're making your way out the door here for your morning commute on your Wednesday. There will be some areas of dense fog, reducing visibility down to near zero in many locations across North Iowa and southeast Minnesota, but that will burn off and we'll get some little bit of sunshine here for the afternoon hours. More sunshine to look forward to here for Thursday and Friday. Let's check that out here in our 10-day forecast. We're back to the 50s, looking good there. 50 degrees here on Thursday, 54 on Friday, but we are tracking another round of rain here as we look ahead to Saturday and Sunday. Highs back upper 40s, lower 50s, and then next week we got lower 50s here on Monday for Veterans Day. And then, as mentioned earlier, we could be getting close to 60 once again here as we look ahead to Tuesday. But otherwise, yeah, just a busy night here tonight. I know we got a lot of races that we're watching here, watching all the numbers coming in, and still some not even reporting yet.
Yes, yes. Keeping an eye on everything, and we will be here throughout the evening. We are scheduled to be cutting in periodically throughout the night, at least until 12:30. So we hope that you'll keep it right here on KIMT News 3, as we will have the latest in those local elections, and you can follow along at the bottom of your screen with that election ticker. That's all from us for here at 10 o'clock, but as I mentioned, we will be breaking in throughout the night. Have a good night, everyone. Hey, welcome back to local election night coverage live. Thank you so much for choosing KIMT News 3 for more on tonight's results and reaction. I'm Kamie Roesler. First, we'd like to once again highlight the team of reporters who will be bringing us coverage throughout the evening. KIMT News 3's Emma Esteb will be sharing live updates from the Olmsted County GOP Watch Party. That's at the Willow Creek Golf and Event Center in Rochester. KIMT News 3's Brandon Coate will be sharing live updates from the DFL Watch Party at Graham Park's Floral Hall, also in Rochester. And finally, our Sananda McCall has been live all evening from Iowa. She was both at the the Democrat Watch Party and the Republican Watch Party, both in Mason City and Clear Lake. The Olmsted County GOP Watch Party is underway as people are waiting for results to roll in. And a big topic tonight is Rochester Public Schools referendum. KIMT News 3 Emma Esteb is live at Willow Creek Golf and Event Center. So Emma, what reaction are you hearing at this hour? I'm guessing pretty positive, at least when it comes to the presidential race.
Hey, Kamie, as of now, what we know for the referendum is that there are a lot of people that are actually voting no. And I'm here with one of the candidates who is running for RPS seat 7, so you can come on into the screen now. This is Christina Barton. And so the race between you and Stephanie Whitehorn is close. So how are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling hopeful. The race isn't over yet, but whatever's meant to be will be, and I'll be praying for whoever wins.
And so why did you decide to run in the first place?
Well, I've been an advocate for a long time for students, and also I'm a devoted mom advocating for him, and I feel like we have to fight for families and we have to fight for the student voice. And I see a lot of things that are very concerning that are happening statewide and within our district that have to be corrected, and we have to have a conservative voice to represent the underrepresented. And I know that I'm willing to fight, and I'm willing to take a stand.
Awesome. And so really quick last question, what is your stance on the referendum?
My stance would be no, and the reason why is because I believe that they're misallocating funds, and we're diverting resources from real teaching and learning, and when we are fracturing trust.
Thank you so much. Sorry, we are wrapping on time, and I just want to say hello to her son Braxton. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Emma, thank you so much, and we will have more local coverage of the election results coming up here on KIMT News 3. Thanks for sticking with us, and you can get live results on our website. That's KIMT.com. Download the KIMT News 3 app as well. Welcome back to local election night coverage. We are live. Thank you so much for choosing KIMT News 3 for more on tonight's results and reaction. I'm Kamie Roesler. The Olmsted County DFL Watch Party continues as people are waiting for results to roll in. KIMT News 3's Brandon Coate is joining us live in Graham Park, where the party is still going on. So, Brandon, how are the vibes out there? Obviously, the presidential race is a hot topic right now. How are people feeling?
Hey, Kamie. Yeah, we are still holding strong here over in Floral Hall. And, yeah, maybe a few people left because we are approaching midnight, but a lot of us are still holding strong. And when Amy Klobuchar was announced the projected winner of the senator from Minnesota, the crowd went wild. That was easily the highlight of the night so far. But, yeah, local candidates here for state representative and senators are still up front, glued to the screen, watching these national results come in, but also taking a close look at how Minnesota is unfolding for their own personal races. And so I also did get a chance to catch up with Rachel Bowman, who's running against U.S. Representative Brad Finstad, and we did call that Brad Finstad won the district, but she is still not conceding. She is telling me that they are still waiting for more votes to roll in, and she says many from Rochester have yet to be counted, so she's not conceding yet. And then Heather Holmes, who's running against Quam, the representative over in Byron, she is right now losing, not officially a loss yet for her. But one thing I did take away from a conversation from her is that, yes, she would be really excited to become the representative, to focus on education, but she says she really respects Quam and how it's been a really clean race so far between them, no personal attacks. And so I thought that was a really cool moment to share over here in Floral Hall. But yeah, still going strong. The vibes are still there, Kamie. Live in Rochester, Brandon Coate, KIMT News 3.
Hey, Brandon, thank you. I do want to touch on a story that you've continued to follow over the last few months, the Rochester Public Schools referendum. We're only dealing with 3% of precincts reporting right now, but it is leading towards no. 131 votes no to 45 yes. Has anyone there spoken with you about the referendum and their thoughts about that?
Oh my goodness, I did not see those new numbers, but yeah, I do see a few school board members here, and yeah, they're still very supportive of it and hoping it does pass, but I guess we'll have to see how it unfolds, Kamie.
All right, Brandon Coate joining us live in Rochester tonight. Thank you, Brandon, so much, and his watch party there at the DFL continues until 1 a.m. That's all for now. Go to KIMT.com. We have live updates there, as well as the ticker on the bottom of your screen. We'll see you in a bit. Welcome back to local election night coverage. Thank you for choosing KIMT News 3 for more on tonight's results and reaction. I'm Kamie Roesler. Our team coverage continues tonight in Iowa. KIMT News 3 reporter Sanana McCall is speaking with voters on both sides of the aisle.
Nicole Nosbish is hosting the Cerro Gordo GOP party in Clear Lake. She's been advocating for disability rights and equality rights across the state, but she has additional ideas for the ideal candidate.
They're gonna help, like, maybe school system and what's right for Iowa. And there's a big thing going on about CO2 pipeline, and the farmers don't want the C2 pipeline through their farms.
After all, it is a heavily agricultural state.
Iowa is pretty much traditional values. 1 out of 5 people in Iowa is ag related. Okay, so without agriculture, you don't have Iowa. Iowa is agriculture primarily. Okay, and you build your pyramid off that foundation. You can't get away from it in Iowa.
Doug Campbell is running for the Iowa State Senate for District 30. Along with this view, the Republican candidate is also taking focus on mental health, family, and education. Over in Mason City at the Democratic Party, education holds a similar value for Jeremy True, running for House in District 59. Do you have any thoughts on how the AEAs, with the recent changes within those policies?
Well, it's tough. I'm a former AEA employee myself before I started at Mason City Schools, and I know what we did, and we could do it far more efficiently and far more cheaper than this privatization push.
I asked True what his thoughts were on their choice president jumping into the race on such short notice. He said it brought door-knocking conversations back to the issues at hand.
As he decided not to run, it totally changed. I could talk about new ideas. All anyone wanted to talk about was Biden and Biden's condition.
But the race is still close between Trump and Harris. If there is a win, how are we going out tonight?
We might have happy tears because 2020 was hard.
In Iowa, Sonata McCall, KIMT News 3.
And turning to another quick Iowa update where the 2nd Congressional District was on the ballot tonight. The Associated Press has called the 2nd Congressional District race for incumbent Republican Ashley Hinson. Thank you so much for joining us here for this KIMT News 3 live local election update. Make sure to stay with us on air and online for the latest local results and reaction. You can go to our website. That's KIMT.com for the latest. Welcome back to local election night coverage. Thanks for staying up late with us and choosing KIMT News 3 for more on tonight's results and reaction. I'm Kamie Roesler. All eyes on the presidential race. This is where things stack up at this hour. Donald Trump leading the charge in the fight to lead our country. We are updating you with the latest numbers from CBS News. Now let's look at how Minnesota and Iowa sit in the race for president. Former President Donald Trump has won Iowa's 6 electoral college votes. Trump has won Iowa in each of the last 3 elections. Iowa last voted for a Democrat in 2012 during Barack Obama's re-election campaign. Now CBS News has not called Minnesota, but says the North Star state leans towards Harris. Both candidates are working to gain Minnesota's 10 electoral votes. As a reminder, a Republican has not won the state's presidential race since Richard Nixon back in 1972. Now to one of the top races we're keeping an eye on in Rochester. The Rochester Public School referendum will be decided tonight. RPS is asking taxpayers to approve a $194 million operating tax levy over the next 10 years, which would raise taxes by $19.4 million each year. The district says it will use the money to improve student learning, retain staff members, and add new positions. Only 3% of precincts reporting at this time, and it is leaning towards no. All right, let's turn to some of the larger regional races that we've been following. We are learning incumbent Republican Brad Finstad has won back U.S. Congressional District 1. He has defeated challenger Democrat Rachel Bowman, a Rochester native and former township board member. Finstad was first elected to the U.S. House 2 years ago during a special election to fill the seat of Jim Hagedorn, who died in February of 2022. He is originally from New Ulm. And we have also learned incumbent Democrat Amy Klobuchar has won the race for Minnesota's U.S. Senate seat. She has defeated Republican Royce White, a former star high school basketball player from Minneapolis. Klobuchar has held the seat since 2007 after first being elected in 2006. This is the 3rd time Klobuchar has won re-election, including both in 2012 and 2018. All right, thank you so much for joining us for this KIMT News 3 live local election update. You can follow the results on our website for the rest of the evening. That's KIMT.com.